Lesson 48 is called Subtracting Mixed Numbers, and we're going to need regrouping. It's a part 1 lesson, which is great, so it's not going to be super long, but to give you an idea of how big a concept it is, it's part 1. They had to split this into multiple lessons to make it a little bit more palatable for us, and because it's just that important and that often kind of confused. It's not really deep, but it's complicated in that it's got more than one step and it's easy to make mistakes. Now, you've done this before. It's building on skills you've used, or maybe you even learned this lesson before, but it might still be something you get wrong from time to time. Today, maybe you'll think about it in a new way and start to be more successful. If I have 4 and 1/6, which is a mixed number because there's a whole and a part of a whole, and I want to take away 1 and 2/6, you might already start to see what's going to make this a challenge. The way that we solve mixed number subtraction, we start by subtracting those whole numbers, just like when we add. So we know 4 minus 1 is 3, but then you go to your fractions, and here's our issue. Numerator of the first of the minuend smaller than the numerator of the subtrahend. You can't take 2 from 1 unless you go into negatives, and we're not going to do that. We don't need to do that because this is a bigger number overall. How could we make the numerator big enough to be taken from? We need to borrow from the 4. Now, it's a big 4. It's a whole 4, right? So this is worth a lot more than 1/6. This is actually worth, well, 4 is 4 wholes. And each one, a whole, we know is a number over a number. That's each one of these. So if we just take, let's say, one of them, let's take this one, 6 and a 6th, 6/6 I should say, and take that out of here and put it into here. What does that, first of all, make the 4? Makes it a 3, because now all I've got is 3 left. 1, 2, 3. So this is now 3. Just going to change this, isn't it? What does that make this right here? I took 6/6 out of the big 4. Now this is worth 6/6 more. 6/6 plus my original 1/6 that I had is going to make it be 7/6. And I know it's improper, but we want to keep that for now. Now we can subtract. Let's change this. The whole number 3 minus 1 is really going to be 2 now because we had to borrow from the whole. But what's beautiful is now, why don't we pop this part out and see what we're doing. Now we can do this quite simply. Same denominator is real nice, thank you. We don't want to reduce anything right now or convert because we did this on purpose so we can subtract with like denominators and a bigger minuend than a subtrahend. 7 minus 2 is 5. And we keep the denominator when adding and subtracting. Where does this go? This goes up here in our answer, which is now 2 and 5/6. Maybe you followed that okay. Maybe you had a hard time following that. What I love about this lesson is they give us a great visual. Let's see now what we just did. That was the math. That was the numbers. That's what you would write on your paper. But here's a way to think about it in your head. Here's a word problem. Sometimes word problems are nice because they make it easier to follow what's happening. There were 4 1/6 pies on the shelf, and the server sliced one of the whole pies into 6ths, removed 1 and 2/6 pies. How many pies were on the shelf, left on the shelf? We may illustrate this problem with circles that look like pies, right? It said there were 4 and a 6th pie. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me get my writer out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1/6 pies, right? The server sliced one pie, this one, into 6. See how it's the same pie as the first drawing? They're just now going to cut it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal slices, triangles. Then the server removes 1 2/6. So this is really worth 1, right? It's 6/6 or 1, and then 1/6, nice and even. We'll take that one out. So we remove these, we remove these. Sorry, 1 2/6. So actually, we need to cut up this one too, do we not? Kind of crude, but we're going to take this one out too. Because 1 2/6 was more than what I had here. So I had to actually cut up another pie. I couldn't just take this one. I had to take into this one too, take this piece out, leaving me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/6 here, and my whole pies that haven't been touched, leaving me with 2 and 5/6. Same answer that we got earlier without the drawing. But you see visually what it is we did with the numbers. We quite simply took away our 6th. We took away a whole pie here. That was 1 and 1/6. And then to get the second 6th, we cut this one up and took 1/6 out of that. We turned this into 6/6. And along with this 6th, we really have 7/6. Maybe you follow that. I was kind of hoping that picture would make it simpler, but there's a lot of drawing and writing and talking, and maybe it's kind of complicated. But here's a great visual of what it is we just did. It shows the 6th. It shows the extra 6th taken, and they actually cut up this one and take the 6th they need, the extra 6th, before they take the whole. So here's our 2/6, and here's the whole. And add all this up, that's 2 2/6, or 1 2/6, that's what we needed. Leaving us with this, and then the remainder here. This drawing's probably better than mine was. One more example, 5 1/3 minus 2 2/3. Again, because the numerators here, the first number's numerator, even though it's a bigger overall mixed number, the numerator is smaller than this numerator, so we're going to need to borrow from the big number and give it to our first mixed number's numerator in the fraction. Don't start by subtracting 5 minus 2, because we're going to need something from the 5. We're actually going to call 5 1/3 4 and 6/3, I think, because we're taking, no, 4/3, because we're going to take 3/3 out. You use the denominator of the fraction you're feeding into. Take 3/3 out. 3 plus 1 is 4/3, and then we still have the 2 2/3, and now we can subtract this. We renamed 5 1/3 to 4 4/3, which is worth the same amount of pi. It just looks different and makes it so we can subtract. 2 and 2/3 remain. Just like it shows here. You can pause, rewind, replay, or just read the book more in detail, or talk to a friend. Make sure you're feeling good about these. Let's pick one from here, pick one from here, and pick one from here. That means you'll be doing 3 subtraction problems with regrouping. Then do G as well, and draw what it is you did, probably with circles. So you're going to do 4 total practice. One of the ones you did, you get to pick and show the drawing. Okay, thank you. Very good luck.